been running meenah neenah for approximately 9-10 years.
Yeah, 10 years.
Well, it started off as meenah meenah and has changed to meenah neenah. I was one of the people that was in the pilot program, and it was developed around how services could be delivered to Aboriginal children through arts practice.
Tell them what the word meaning.
Meenah neenah means mine and yours. Yeah.
That's our one of it.
Yeah. Okay, Uncle Murray, come on. So we work with young children that are at risk of falling through the education system. We work through via the schools. So we go into Port Dalrymple School at Georgetown, East Tamar Primary School and Ravenswood Primary School. And we use the arts to connect young people to their culture, and also a lot of them haven't had engagement with community.
So then we actually make sure that it's a cultural safe area, environment for the children. They come to us, like there's children that actually come to us each week and sit down and they have conversations, probably not conversations that they would have with their teachers or other support workers at their school. It's an environment that we make sure that they feel safe. We don't deny the children in who they are. We respect them for their own identity. And yeah.
Like I do a lot of one-on-one work with the children that some of them I'm not up with their work, so we do a lot of one-on-one consultations with them and work in class with them. So there's some a bit behind it, and a lot of them are not wanting to go to school, but when they hear that we're coming, they get there every day. They say, can every day be Tuesday? Can every day be a Monday or something like that with us? So we must be doing a better, doing well with them anyway. So.
And each week you can see like the progress with the children as well. But they become more open, like when because I'm only reasonably new into the program. So now the children are actually starting to have that trust in me where they can open up and have conversations. And like, we work in a holistic way. So we actually treat the child and we embrace the children and their families, like, in all ways, like, spiritual, social, emotional, physical, with their well-being. Because there's some children who aren't as lucky as some, and we just meet their needs. Like it could be, like, providing some fruit for the children, because some kids don't have that.
Had one child that actually turned up at school with a bag full of chocolate chip cookies for his all-day snacks and was off the show.
I'd love to show, all right.
And then we've had other children like that just come in and sleep because they don't get sleep at home. And we allow that to happen, whereas in a classroom, they're not. That's very, very regular.
Exactly. And then, and with them children who come to us and sleep, but they're actually engaged with this. Like one day when we actually had, like, a small Christmas party for them. And she was in her element.
She was, yes.
So we make sure that all their needs are met. I personally feel that there should be more room for wraparound support. So we can actually provide extra services for the children or be in contact with other service providers so we can meet all those needs of the children, because there's only so much that we can do within our program. Your turn now. Your turn.
Mostly it's it all left me really is it talking around about the way that we work with our kids and that. So just keep it going all the time. There's a lot of.
And we do adapt our program to meet the needs of our young kids. We know what their needs are.
Or we endeavour to
Find out their needs, and we ask them what they want to do, or.
But they're still learning with what we're teaching them, as in whether the 3 R's, they're reading, writing, and arithmetic. So they're still learning to do their schoolwork in a roundabout way. So do it in the white man's way, as I say. So a lot of our kids won't.
They learn by doing. They learn by doing.
They're doing.
That hands-on stuff.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
And even if the one-on-ones, like helping little children to read, like I take them outside, so they're in the outside environment instead of in the 4 walls.
And also we're funded only to work with 6 to 12-year-olds, but I've actually stepped outside of those bounds because students that I've worked with in the past have needed support. Uncle Murray's done the same. So, we don't feel like you can't just work with them from 6 till 12 and then go, bye.
It's not that.
It's not.
It's not sustainable for them or for us.
Fall down through the cracks in the water, and what's going to happen to them?
Because their problems don't go away because they've hit that age. So I've got 2 teenage children that fit into that.
I've got a teenage grandson that's falling through the cracks and
Might need some one-on-one with him.
So what happens to those children?
they fall through the cracks.
That's a worry. That is a worry. I've started with one.
Because originally we were funded from birth to 25 when meenah and neenah first started out, So yes.
You don't know where it's all going to end up.
No.
Very long.
That's all right. Did you want me to start with some questions?
That would be awesome.
Yeah. We might have a look at what some folks have already asked. Possible.
Oh, Jane Chapman.
Jane. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Jane.
So Jane's asked, can you explain more what a culturally safe environment is?
So culturally safe environments where you
It's making sure the environment is safe. There's no challenges for the children or even for the Aboriginal workers who are working with the kids. There's no denial of their identity, of who they are and what they need.
And Jane's also asked how we can put this into practice.
Practice, I believe that organisations coming from the white perspective should actually all engage, and if they're working with our community, with our children, with our people, that they should actually be or participate in cultural awareness training.
Yeah, that was a question that we had. So do you have any recommendations of places that people could go to do that training?
There was one offered through Beck Hollis and someone else that was an absolutely amazing. So I think it was trauma informed.
Okay.
Yeah.
You might be able to get the details and we'll send them out to people. Sarah has got a question. Do you have the capacity to visit other community spaces to share skills and stories?
I would be honoured to go in and share our culture.
Well,
we do
with other communities, and we do go into the, other schools as well, like Uncle Murray and myself.
But are you talking from the meenah and neenah perspective? Because we only run 3 days a week.
Yeah,
that's the other thing.
That question might be in relation in your capacity with meenah and neenah. But I'm not sure about otherwise. We might be able to get back to Sarah.
We've only funded for 3 days, ain't we? So, well, it's not 3 days, it's so many hours that we get that we fund for, but we do go into, as individuals, we do go into other schools and other areas, teaching and cultural awareness and all of that sort of stuff. So it's getting out there, but slowly.
Yeah. So another question that I've got here is how important is it for non-Indigenous workers to understand colonisation and white privilege in how they go forward in working with First Nations people? Maybe pretty obvious answer here.
Actually, really.
Yeah.
And unpack that stuff.
Yeah.
Because so many organisations and institutes are built on it's built by the colonisers, and there's still all this stuff that's bubbling underneath. Like, I was at Exeter High School the other day, and I was actually gobsmacked that a parent actually was saying stuff about abos and bungs, and I was like, oh, it's there, it's bubbling.
Yeah.
How can this still be happening?
Yeah. Yeah. I think there is that in the community, and then I guess as workers as well, I think being aware of that, what perspective we are coming from. I was watching some talks on decolonising mental health, and they were talking about how all of these systems have been set up from the sort of white perspective, and that our ideas about what's normal and what's a normal family and how things should be structured is based on ideas that isn't the same for everyone. Yeah.
I actually named up, because I work at the QV mag as well, and I named up at a meeting there we had with all the people that it was huge for me every day to walk through the doors of the oppressors, the people that have actually suppressed our people for so long.
So it's important to have that awareness.
It is, and I think people need to unpack all of that stuff. Like, it's not our problem, it's other people's problem, really.
It's a problem for 250 to 300 years, isn't it, since colonisation, especially with Aboriginal people.
What's that? What evidence-based programs
do you use?
The children. Yes.
Fair enough.
The kids are the evidence,
That's
we have
right.
kids
It's
that
like success stories with the children.
Yeah.
Like,
We're still getting them back every couple of years, so must be doing something right. Or they wouldn't come back if they didn't like us. Or didn't like the program.
Someone's asked, what do you need from organisations to work better with Aboriginal people?
cultural awareness training again.
Yeah.
It's so important. So you have an understanding about the colonisation, and the impact it actually still has on us today.
So I've got two separate connected issues. So there's the issue that systems aren't built for Indigenous children, families and community. And then there's the individuals that work within those systems. So I guess there's a question about how non-Indigenous workers on the ground can be good allies. Do you think it is just having that training and that awareness in the back of your mind?
And actually being open to meeting with people before you actually engage in things, like, I suppose, it's actually, it is. It's actually about meeting and not just expecting.
That relationship.
Yeah, so it's that building of relationships. Yeah, that's really, really important.
Yeah.
It's about the understanding of us, where we come from. And I said, you've got to educate the educators.
Yeah.
So my two main things.
I was wondering how best to connect with community.
Yeah, so we've got the question, either meenah, neenah or individually. Oh, sorry, best to connect with community.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. Another question, where do we get cultural training that's respectful and appropriate from an Aboriginal perspective? So we talked about that program that you talked about, and we'll probably try and get some details for that up in on the Slack channel.
There is also one of our elders in the community, Hank Horton. He does the gumnuts to buttons.
I've done gumnuts to buttons as well.
Yeah.
So we do it, don't we? Gumnuts to buttons.
That's so that's actually making people sit the other side of colonisation.
Yeah.
Jane Watts.
Hi, Jane. So Jane's just got a comment, not a question, but just wanting to say the Meenah Neenah program runs in Georgetown, and we have a lot of non-Indigenous kids demanding a turn to learn and embrace Aboriginal culture. A fabulous program. Thanks, Jane.
Thank you, Jane.
Jane.
Thanks for that comment.
And it is true though, the children today, there's not the stigma placed on Aboriginal kids, and a lot of the non-Aboriginal kids do want to start learning our culture.
Yeah, absolutely. I think sorry, just on that point, that I think I was talking to you the other day about at Riverside Olympic and the Indigenous round, and how amazing it was, I guess, from my perspective and the non-Indigenous kids' perspective, to see the pride and to see, you know, how wonderful that was, an experience for all of them. So, yeah, it was really wonderful. So everyone, yeah.
It is, because we had a little girl at one of the schools we were working at a couple of weeks ago, and she come in and she was quite proud. She was sitting down, she told us her name, and she wasn't on our list, and we didn't, like, you know, that didn't bother us. And she started painting, but meanwhile, nobody else knew where she was. They had the whole school looking for this little girl, and here she is sitting down painting ochre, and and she wanted to be with her other friends.
We had one on Tuesday the same.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be in here, darling.
Oh, we had another comment here that gum nuts to buttons is awesome, and that it's offered at Tad's Tape on a regular basis for their students. So that's awesome.
How can we individuals?
Yeah, I think I had another question about, so a lot of the attendees today will be working in sort of maybe schools or childcare settings or in community services. If you had any specific examples, and I know everyone's different, so it's a bit of a tricky question, about how non-Indigenous workers, if you had any suggestions for how they can adapt the environments that they're working in, the ways that they do things, or, you know, the actual physical environment to be more accessible and inclusive.
So I think that comes down to having artwork, having things that children can relate to from their cultural perspective.
Yeah.
But probably most of all, consultation with the Aboriginal community before going ahead and doing it, like us, the Aboriginal community.
What it means, what the cultural appropriate protocols are.
Yeah. So
the best way to do it, if you don't ask, you won't find anything, will you?
Yeah, opening that conversation and not being afraid to ask.
Yeah, not being afraid.
Yeah.
No question's a stupid question. If you don't know, you won't find anything, will you?
Yeah. I think I said that to you the other day. I'm going to do things wrong and you tell me all about it, and I'm happy to hear that, because that's how you learn. So, you know, and I think it's important to be okay with that.
They always talk to you about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think consultation is a huge part of it, instead of just going ahead and doing it. That's disrespectful.
And I think we need more Aboriginal people in positions.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly, because
we're in the minority.
We are.
Yeah.
Like, especially to improve outcomes for children at schools, like, you know, either it's the private or public sector, there's not enough Aboriginal education workers in the schools.
Yeah.
And I believe that needs to change, to adapt into their practices, and also the curriculum needs to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's one there.
So we had a question about how white organisations collaborate better with Aboriginal programs and start the conversation with the Aboriginal facilitator or people.
By conversation, by building relationships.
Yeah. Not being afraid to make the call, or, you know.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah.
If you make mistakes, at least, you know, you're actually trying.
Keep on keeping on. If you get a lot of knockbacks at times, but means somebody surely out there will come and go and give them a hand or do something.
Yeah.
Whoever they are. So I try to be diplomatic with everybody.
How do we rally for changing curriculum?
Yeah.
Don't know, Deb.
The next question, how do we rally for changing the curriculum?
Well, actually, I was working with teachers yesterday, so these are the up-and-coming teachers, and so it was really lovely. They actually introduced themselves, and then if they knew the country they were They travelled on to get to the thing. It was beautiful. And I think that if we actually look at the teachers, the up and coming teachers, it's actually they're the ones that are going to actually be influencing the young people. They're bringing up our cultural warriors.
That's right. They're starting to put it in the curriculum now.
No, it's always been in the curriculum about Aboriginal studies, but it's not actually very often followed through.
I think I have noticed that there's a bit more awareness in schools. I noticed it. My son came home and was talking about a song that they were singing at school and was saying to me that, I'm only allowed to do this if I'm invited by another Aboriginal child. So, he was quite,
that's respectful.
Really aware and that sort of thing. But, I guess you've got that, and then you've got the bigger issue of the curriculum and how things are taught. So, Do you recommend letter writing?
Letter writing. Lots of it. Lots of letter writing. And petitioning with building protest.
Exactly.
Did we have a couple more questions there? I'll just have a little... Oh, no. Does anyone else have any other questions that they wanted to ask?
I don't know.
We'll just give them a couple of minutes in case anyone else had anything else that they wanted to say or any comments. Otherwise, we can finish up, or if you had anything else you wanted to talk about.
Behaving ourselves.
Yeah. I just think the Meenah Neenah program, how important it is for our children to come and see us each week. They might only sit down, like their concentration span sometimes only short, so they may only just come and sit down for 10, 15 minutes, do what they've got to do, and then they go back to their classroom. But they're still engaging with us and they can offload their stuff.
We've got a comment that the Orb on the Department of Education website is a great resource.
It's an awesome resource.
That is a
But
great
it's hard to
resource.
get onto,
Okay. Sorry, we won't argue. It is one.
Might have got it done up a bit better now.
And then there's another comment that says, "Love your work. Thank you."
Thanks, Deb.
Yeah. And someone said, "I've seen some of the artworks created by the participants at Meenah Neenah. Is the work displayed anywhere for the public to see?"
It has been in the past. We've had exhibitions at Riawana. Where else did we have? We had actually. We're going to look at using the community space at the QV Mag to develop an exhibition. And it's in the schools. Lots of schools actually display the children's works.
The art teacher is amazing up at Ravenswood Primary School. She's actually dedicated a wall for the kids to display their work on.
Nice.
And she's actually done extra to make it look pretty as well. And it's quite special for the kids to see that hanging.
And that's what builds pride.
Yeah,
It's great.
absolutely.
Where do we see the program in 5 years' time?
We really don't know, because how far can we? Well, we don't know the future, what goes on, do we? We don't know with the.
Probably to wish, as the kid says, they wished every day was a Tuesday or every day was a Monday. It would be good to be able to get to more children.
Okay.
So there's that one there, that last one. Where do we?
Yeah, the question was, where do we see the program in 5 years'
We
time?
really don't know, because we don't know about funding. We don't know about anything, do we?
That's like how long's a piece of string? We don't know.
Yeah, well, just a.
We have an art piece at Mowbray that came from Tamar.
So Debbie Clark has just said that they have an art piece at Mowbray that came from Tamar Avenue.
Oh, is that the piece, respect piece that Josh Gardner did?
Right.
And so we donated it to Mowbray.
Oh, right. So that's the Dover Street neighbourhood house there. For anyone who doesn't know. And then we've got another question.
The bottom one.
If you're a non-Indigenous person but keen to be involved, can we just contact you or Anglicare about getting involved in Meenah Neenah? would you say that would not be appropriate for a non-Indigenous person to
I'm not
get
sure.
involved?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they mean by that question.
They might be asking about volunteering or
We try to have Aboriginal people working with the children, yeah.
yeah, no worries.
Because it's that whole thing
Unfortunately,
of
that's what the
supporting
program
and
is set up
mentoring.
for, isn't it? Is we've got to have Aboriginal people working with the kids. Unfortunately, means it's not our doing. We just run the program. It's a roundabout way, isn't it? So
We haven't got autonomy over the program.
over the program. So
Were there any last questions? That's about it. I think, are you all happy to leave it there? So what have we got here? So yeah, I think we'll just finish it there. If there's no other questions that anyone had, and if anyone did have any more that they thought of later, feel free to ask them on Slack, and we can see what we can do. So thank you so much, Vicki, Marcia, and Uncle Murray. It's been a real privilege to have you all here today and to speak to you, and we really appreciate you taking the time. So yeah, thanks so much.
Have a good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.